Trade recap 3rd of March 2026. So today I'm at break even. Was like a pretty crazy sell-off and a quite tough day in my opinion. But gladly I'm break even after I had like previously 2 losses. What was my expectancy when I started to trade today? So we had like this volume profile picture today. And there was like basically the expectancy of after we got like this constant crazy selling, and especially during the ETH, and as Iran is currently being attacked by the US, I expected them to maybe sell off a little bit more until we finally start seeing some buyers again and we might rally up again. Yeah, what was the expectancy? We were like going through this balance around here, and I was expecting them to continue this selling until at least this kind of area here. Why? Because this would be the beginning of the balance high where I can finally see some buyers starting to show up again. Otherwise, if we would have just held this low here, which we haven't, maybe there would be a change of buyers, and yeah, buyers start to try getting it up once again. Yeah, what was then the trades I've taken today? Basically, I wasn't trading the first hour as I'm mostly not doing. It was like the first, the second, the third, fourth, fifth. Yeah, okay. Basically, what was happening today was like we had like a pretty we had like this pretty constant selling. We got under this area as you guys previously saw on the volume profile. I will add it into it. As you guys saw, 6754, we got like lower than here and expanded even lower. After we held like resistance at around this area, I wasn't able to get on this trade because just buyers didn't let me do that. I wanted to short this area. Why? Because I expected sellers to hold out this balance low as a resistance. Didn't turn out to be like that. I mean, it would have turned out to be like an okay trade, let's say somewhere around 15 points, 14 to 15 points, which would have been like a 2 to 3 hour win. But yeah, it was in a little bit too early. Why was I interested into this area? Because we had like some pretty strong support early on, then we had like this constant sell-off with those sell imbalances up here, and I expected them to continue and hold out this area, which didn't work out. I was like maybe a little bit too early. It was totally okay for me, and it was the first trade. Yeah. Then they expanded higher into the balance, and the problem was with this buying today that you cannot get a hold of the buying. It's just too quick of a move. Yeah, what has happened next then was like we were like at 6790, somewhere around that. 6790 was like this low volume area here, somewhere around that. And I expected buyers to stall out somewhere around here and sellers trying to take over and get like, yeah, continue the selling. And to be honest, they didn't do. I mean, if I include like my structure chart up here, it was like the structure was there. It wasn't like that the trade was stupid. It was maybe I shouldn't have considered it after we saw like those crazy red delta bars and constantly grinding higher, which means that sellers just getting absorbed, aggressive selling by passive buying, and which is mostly an indication for price not going lower but continuing. Yeah, it happened exactly like that. They immediately stopped me out, and I think also news came out at this exact area, and then this prior resistance turned into great support, which you could have traded, but I was like not on the charts during that time. And then we got into this area up here, 6807. Why did I short it again? Because I we were like back into this low volume kind of area, and I thought that they will definitely try. You guys saw there was like a crazy low liquidity kind of aspect. It was like looking the exact same previously, but yeah, sellers just weren't strong enough. Instead, they just ripped through, and I got like another stop. So until this point, it was like down 2 hour, and then I took a little bit more of a break. This one was break even. Why? Yeah, it was the exact the one I talked about. Basically, I wanted to see them get lower, but they just got totally absorbed by those big negative delta down here, which definitely was a big resistance. I might could have taken profit at around 14 points. That is like a great 2.5 to 3 hour win. That would be like some great kind of move. Yeah, didn't turn out to be like that, and instead they just constantly got higher and higher until we came to this 6823 area here. And why were so many sellers showing up here? Because it was the beginning of this bigger balance starting at around 6820, and it would have turned out like it was a good trade, the next one I've taken. And why did I take it? Because we saw like some crazy aggressive selling exactly at where I expected them to show up, mainly because of the balance slow. Started down there, somewhere down there, and yeah, it just got rebid quite aggressive, which told me that some buying is still present. And after they made like some good structural changes, some higher highs, and continued with the structure, yeah, I expected them to hold out this area, and that's why I wanted to go long up here. I've then taken partials, like you saw, 15 points on one MES contract leads to overall of 150 points. And yeah, they came back once more, held this area, and they're like, I wanted to see a little bit more if I wanted to trade this again. And basically what happened then was just Trump was announcing that he will take care of the supply for oil because of the war, that everyone has like enough oil. And then just price immediately ran up, like you saw, within 2 minutes they made like a crazy 26-point move. That's a lot. And yeah, this turned out I would have definitely, because my target was exactly this high. Why? Because we saw like the exact same liquidity, which is still lying in the order book, was here at the exact prior moment. And that was my last target for this last 1/3 of a trade, and it was like break even. I mean, here it isn't showing, but on this trades it is showing. And yeah, that was my expected target. Would have hit, but only later on, and I just got break even with the last one. And then I had one more trade, which led me to finally being break even again. Why have I taken this trade? Because first of all, we had like this kind of higher low held, a prior higher low held, and constant buying. We made like some new highs somewhere around here. Buyers stalled out here, sellers took over, but we still came back into this area, which was like some prior good resistance, which turned into support. And we had like those crazy aggressive buying up here, with those aggressive buyers starting to step in. And the structure was also quite good for this trade. That was because we had like from this area some new higher high, and I expected them to get like higher, but after I saw them failing to not get through this high, I said, okay, for me the probability isn't there to like keep this trade open. And I've already had my stop to break even, so that was why I was okay with taking a profit and calling it a day. And yeah, I'm up on the day, hopefully. Okay, that's great. No one can like really see. I'm up on a day as you can see. Closed profit, it says in German. And even with commissions, I'm still up. I'm basically break even. Yeah, that was the day.